All right, I wish I could watch the whole context of that video. These YouTube segments, when they chop it up, it doesn't do us a justice because we don't really see the whole context. But based on the little snippet, I'm just going to respond to Akon's question about why do Black Americans not desire to move back to Africa or see it as a vacation spot. Now, I do not speak for all Black Americans. I make that clear in all my videos. You know, I'm just a guy who happened to be born in Germany, spent some years outside of the USA and moved here. And majority of my life has been the Black American experience. So I'm just going to talk on the perspective that I've experienced and also like-minded people similar to me who have experienced. So to answer the first question that he presented, why don't they see it as a vacation spot? Well, that has a lot to do with the Western media portrayal of Africa. Many Black Americans growing up in the 80s and 90s specifically, especially as media started to evolve around that time and even before, the images of Africa has never really been positive. It's always been negative. And Africa is talked so little about in the school and education system here in America that when you hear of Africa, you are taught that it is savage. You know, these people were uncivilized, and that's the image that has been projected onto Black Americans for decades. So when you grow up seeing and thinking that, it isn't until you get older, and unfortunately Black Panther movie came out, that a positive depiction of Africa and curiosity started to grow among Black Americans, because majority of Black Americans' life, and they know what I'm talking about, Africa has not been portrayed in a positive light. All right. Another reason why Black Americans don't travel over there as well is because of the job work-life balance here. Unfortunately, in America, majority of Americans are overworked and underpaid, and the travel time at max is 2 weeks on average for most Americans. That's really not a lot of time to go see the world. You're talking about 365 days. You only get 14 days, if that, to be able to travel. And most of the time when people do that, they're traveling within the USA because it's super expensive to go outside of the USA. This is why they do cruises and just go to the Caribbean or something close, because most people on average aren't traveling abroad, spending a lot of money in the Black American community like that, you know, on average from what I see. So also a question I would love to ask you, Brother Akon, is, does Africa open up its borders to Black Americans? Is Africa giving citizenship to Black Americans to where we can show up and say we love a certain country? We could say, hey, I want to be a citizen of this country while I keep my USA citizenship. Is that something Africa is doing on a whole? Or do you have to go apply and go through hurdles to be able to get citizenship? Because a lot of Black Americans also have a resentment because there's some internal feeling like, I want to come back home, but these people sold me, and this is why I'm in America. This is a real problem. So let's address those issues and let's figure out how to work together to come around it, because both of us have been colonized.